Segman, I posted this last night.
Yes, sir.
I received word tonight that the most talented radio host of all time, Gary Burbank, needs your special prayers as he confronts serious health issues.
Yes, sir.
Remember Gary, his wife Carol, and family in your prayers. His life and career has been extremely long and consequential. Gary Burbank died today. And
oh, boy.
For those of us who knew him, respected him.
Genius, Willie. That's all you can say.
I posted online, Gary Burbank has passed. May the GOAT rest in peace. And first time you met him was before I met him. I didn't meet him in 83.
Yeah.
And you were here in the sports office in 79.
Yep.
I come in here with Alan Browning, my client, and Randy Michaels introduced Alan Browning around. And there was Gary Burbank and Bill Gable and Bob Trumpy, and they said, this is the evening talk show host, Alan Browning. And I said, they said, who? I'm Bill Cunningham. I'm his lawyer. And so we walked around at 3 4th Street.
Yep.
And every now and then, you were a staple of Sports or Consequences, correct?
One of the best shows going, yes.
And did it all. He worked in Louisville. He worked in Canada for a while.
Yep.
He was a program director in Shreveport, Louisiana. And he fought the good fight, but anyone who heard him understood why we say the greatest of all time, with all due respect to everyone else, is Gary Burbank, a.k.a. Billy Purser. And
just absolute genius. That's all you can say, Willie, in my book.
Doc
Wolf.
He notified us that he passed away today.
Duke.
So
everybody, and it was part of the show.
It's not a tragedy when someone dies at the age of 83, but on the other hand, it's sadness that we will never hear his voice again. And with that segment, get me out of the studio.
Willie, let's see. In honor of the great one, Gary Burbank, we leave you with the immortal words of the Stooge Report.
There are political candidates, and then there's Ray Scum. Ray Scum is not, I repeat, not a political candidate. And that's one of the many reasons to vote Scum. Here's Ray now to tell you all about it.
Now see, I'm not a political candidate, so I haven't made any outrageous promises to you. And I won't. Well, wait a minute. I just made the outrageous promise and saying I wouldn't promise any outrageous promises, but I promise I won't make any outrageous promises except the promise that I won't make any outrageous promises. I think I won't do that.
And Ray Scum is clean. Just check his missing records at the police station. Scum, the clean candidate.
This message paid for by Scum's Clean Campaign, Ronald Filth, janitor.
1984, he runs for governor as Earl Pitts.
And also, remember, after every political season, Willie, he would run the ads and blow them up.
People were thinking, why is he running the ads? It's Wednesday.
Right. They play about 15. Thank you. He's pay about 15 seconds of them. Thank you.
And that's it. And he was last on in the afternoon drive with Eddie and I think Tracy Jones about 7 or 8 years ago. And he's had some declining health. But the brilliance of his mind and the joy he brought to millions must go marked here. And two-time Marconi Award winner and just the best kind of radio host you could be in a time when politics wasn't that important. He made fun of everything and everybody. Segman, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So let's continue with more, marking the passing of Gary Burbank. Coming up after 2 o'clock will be Frank LaRose about absentee voting and more at your home of the Reds. Hopefully they won't strike out 19 times tomorrow. And God bless Gary Burbank on News Radio 700 WLW.
You know what makes me sick? You know what makes me so angry? I just want to slice my nose in an electric can opener and try to give myself that Michael Jackson look. Now, men, I'm going to need a little support on this one. See, I'm sitting at home last night. I'm watching the Big Time Wrestling Federation free-for-all on TV, and my old lady Farrah comes in and sits down in my recliner. Suddenly, she pops up screaming mad to beat the man, throwing a major league hissy fit. I don't have no idea what for. Then she shows me her arm. Oops. See, right before she come in the room, I'm sitting in the recliner harvesting a crop of toenails. Had me a nice little pile stored up there on the arm of the recliner. And I forgot. That is, till Pearl jumps up with a razor-sharp toenail clipping stuck in her forearm, yelling, "Earl Pitts, you're disgusting. You're a rancid piece of human meat. This is the most disgusting, filthy, miserable habit you got." And I said, "Wait a minute, Pearl. You said the same thing about me picking my nose when I'm driving." Yeah, she thinks she's so pure. Taking out her tonsil clipping, pinching off the ends of her nails. I mean, she'll squeeze them clippers like a devil when they get to the big toe, and then, ping! That nail come flying off there, ricocheting off a plasterboard like a 20 caliber slug off a rock. Fact is, the woman ain't got toenails. She got see-through sheet metal on her toes. It's like that in her family, too. I've seen more than one man in her family wearing an eye patch, or he got wounded by his old lady's ricocheting toenails. And Pearl thinks I'm so disgusting. Hey, let's have a show of hands out there, men. How many men pick their toenails when they're watching TV? Yeah, I thought so. What does she know? Wake up, America! It ain't like I'm picking my toes at the dining room table, for heaven's sake. Jeez, that's where I pick my teeth. Well, these bras get off anyway, huh? I'm Earl Pitts, American. Be itself.
Gary Burbank's passed away today at the age of 84. Mike McConnell happened to be here.
Yeah, it's going to get a little work done.
Well, what do you think?
Well, it's a shame, but you said you can't complain at 83. If you would have told me 40 years ago he was going to live till 83, I would have bet the house against it. I would bet the house against it. When I first started here, I was doing production, as we know. So I was working till like 5:30. So Gary said, you're around. Let's go get a couple pops after work someday. Okay, so we're driving around town. He's driving, and we've been out and hit a couple places. Pull up to a light, and he starts coughing. And I mean coughing, like turning purple, coughing, pounding the dashboard, coughing, can't stop. I said, "Man, are you all right?" And he goes, "It's the only exercise I get." If you'd have told me that day
40 years
it's
ago.
the only exercise I get, I'd have bet the house against it. So, I mean, the guy, he was a blast. He was.
For a few, several months, as you know, I was the operations manager in PD. And so Randy gets hold of me and says, "Can you get Gary in there and see if you can come up with different characters and maybe change things up a little bit?" So I get Gary into my office. After 10 minutes, my desk is upside down. He's picked up my desk and tried to throw it across the room and left. So I called Randy back and said, "I'm not sure he's going to change a lot of his characters, Randy."
Not soon, anyway.
Not soon, no time soon. But I want to celebrate his life.
Yeah.
According to the statistic, he lived to be 84, which ain't bad.
Yeah.
Considering, his
He didn't
life.
exactly take care of himself.
Not exactly. Sega would live to be 97, but
Yeah.
Gary died today, and Earl Pitts and Gilbert Gnarly and the Right Reverend Deuteronomy Skaggs and Ranger Bob and Synonymous Bengal and Raleigh Gert are now gone with the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so many stories. I don't know. We were at the fireworks once, back when the fireworks were on the boat, the Mike Fink, I guess. And I smoked at the time, and Gary wasn't allowed to, and his wife was,
Carol was mad.
she was upset if he did.
Smoked.
He goes, "Hey, I'm gonna smoke." I said, "We're going to smoke it. Carol's here. It's a big staff thing. Lots of people there, clients and all that." He goes, "Let's go in the men's room." Okay, we go. That's back when you could smoke anywhere, So go in the men's room, I give him a cigarette. As soon as he lights it, Carol walks in the door of the men's room. By mistake, she thought it was the ladies' room. First, she was, "Oh, sorry. Wait, what are you doing?" As soon as he lit it. And, he was like, like a kindergarten kid, with the hand in the cookie jar kind of a thing. He just he melted. It was like, what are the chances that you'd get busted? In the first one he's had in months, I don't know. But
Well, Scott Reinhardt says only the good die young. That wasn't the case in Gary's case.
no, he was a good guy, but he didn't behave himself.
No, not at all. Our times at baseball heaven we'll talk about in the in the Stooge report. But Mike, can you hang around a little bit till after 2:30? You're busy. You got nothing to do.
I got a couple things to do, but yeah.
Hang around 2:30. We'll do the Stooge.
All right.
On 700 WLW. I'm Billy Cunningham, the great American. Of course, Gary Burbank has passed away today at the age of 84. At the bottom of the hour, we have a little bit of a tribute going for Gary. including his obituary, which I think he would have enjoyed. And he died peacefully in the arms of his wife, Carol, this morning in the state of Florida. Well, let's continue with more. And as I announced about 45 minutes ago, it was Doc Wolf sent me a text saying that Gary Burbank has passed at the age of 84. And we're going to have a tribute to him of sorts coming up in about 10 minutes. And memories with Gary, light the corners of my mind, are years playing in the Coors All-Stars. I can remember a few times sitting on the bench. Gary wasn't able to run to first, so he had Tony Bender and others pinch hit for him. And frankly, there was not a more talented radio personality in my life than Gary Burbank and his cast of characters, especially Doc Wolf and all the rest. We're going to miss Earl Pitts and Gilbert Gnarly and Eunice and Bernice and the Right Reverend Deuteronomy Skaggs and Ranger Bob and Riley Gert, which is my favorite, the Synonymous Bengal, and more. And he's passed on at the age of 84, and may he rest in peace in the arms of God Almighty. Bill Cunningham, News Radio 700, WLW.
Gary Burbank passed away today due to as yet unrevealed causes. Burbank was known for his clever wit, his pithy remarks, and his biting satire. Gary was known by his listeners as the man who never spit on a squirrel. Here's Doc Wolf, his co-host for 18 years, being interviewed in the unemployment line.
One thing that people always said about Gary was that he smelled like a hero. He never would say what his cologne was, but it just seemed to captivate people just like his personality.
Hey, move, I'm next!
Burbank's characters were so real, they had taken on a life of their own, with Gilbert Gnarly even being hunted by creditors who thought he was real. His other hilarious characters included Eunice and Bernice, the Reverend Deuteronomy Skaggs, Ranger Bob, and Carl Wyndham. Here's a clip of a Carl Wyndham bit.
Put some water in it.
Duke Sinatra was given his start by the magnanimous Burbank.
Yeah, he was all right. You know, he was a good enough guy. He was always pretty nice to me. He helped me out a lot in my life, helped me in my career, a great friend as well as a boss. But, you know, it's not like I would have kissed his ass on Fountain Square or anything. Well, unless he asked me to. And if he had asked me to, I would have done it. God, I love that man.
Gary Burbank will be missed by millions of fans around the world. The National Guard will be called in for funeral crowd control, as the memorial service for Gary Burbank is expected to draw more than the JFK procession. The coffin will be pulled by a riderless horse with a backwards microphone in the stirrup. We'll all miss you, Gary. This is the bereaved Jeff Henderson reporting. Was that convincing?
Hello? Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Oh, you bonehead. Oh, my God.
Mike McConnell, what do you think?
I think that's pretty funny. That's vintage, though.
Yeah. 1999, that was done. You do these things in anticipation of someone's death, just to book it. We thought Gary was going to die by the year 2000.
Right.
Well, by 25 years.
Put it in the can. You're ready
You're
to
going
roll.
to use it eventually, right?
And here's eventually.
Give me one or two Gary Burbank stories from the Mike McConnell.
Oh, Lord. Think I can tell the one I told off air?
Tell that one, but you had to clean it up just a little bit.
So we're on 4th Street at just LW by itself, single station. And in the men's room, we had, I think, 3 urinals and 2 or 3 stalls. 3 stalls, I think.
A lot of them.
So we merged with EBN and moved to Mount Adams. So we have many more people. And in the men's room now was 1 urinal and 2 stalls. So Gary was upset he couldn't get things done by the time he went on the air at 3. And he was good. I mean, he'd occasionally throw a fit if he was pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
But he would also throw fake fits. And he went in. John Phillips was the operations manager at the time, and he went in and slammed John's door and went on a rant about how we went from having 3 urinals and 3 stalls to 1 urinal and 2 stalls, and he can't get his business taken care of before he goes on the air, and F-bombs are flying, and he pulls John's trash can in his office off to the side and drops his drawers and sits on the trash can. And Gary had this plastic turd that he used to play around with. And at one point, reached between his legs and dropped it in the trash can. Still MFing John Phillips, and got up and stormed out and slammed the door. And John said he got up, he went over, looked in the can. He could not believe Burbank just did that.
He dropped a baby Ruth in the trash can.
Right, it was this rubber thing he used to. I got some other stories on that, but I can't.
A similar story. We're at Reds baseball heaven, and Gary loved baseball, but he was not as swift of foot. So there was picnic tables, and we had a lunch, and I had 2 games, 1 game in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. We had lunch, and they had barbecue and some coleslaw. And so at some point, we're sitting at a long table. There was Don Gullett was there, and a lot of the older Reds. And Gary starts saying, "Man, my stomach doesn't feel right." And I'm looking at him, it's the barbecue. I don't know when he's talking to. And he bends over and goes, "Bleh!" And he drops out of his hands, unbeknownst to most of us, looked like a pizza pie size vomit. Fake vomit. And drops it. And the players call, "Oh, God, Gary." And
but he pulled it off so well.
I didn't
he was so believable.
Fake puke.
He carried around fake puke and fake turds in his pocket. That's the best.
And a segment knows the Center for the Performing Arts.
Yes.
Mons Venus. Gary, I didn't want to go, of course, and you wouldn't have gone. Mike, you wouldn't have gone.
No, never heard of it.
Did you go? Seg, you didn't like to go except when you went to the iMac machine to get more money.
You forced me into this.
So Gary goes, and he's wearing, it looks like parachute pants. And I said, I had my blue jeans on or something. He said, "Gary, why you got like a nylon parachute?" He said, This is my Mons Venus lap dancing crew." So he had
his lap dance pants.
Lap dance pants. So he'd hire these women to come and do lap. You don't even know what a lap dance is, do you, Rock?
Of course not.
You don't know what it is, but say you know what it is because you went to the iMac machine to get a bunch of extra dollars. Remember that?
Yeah.
Rock, what are your memories of Gary?
I just, of course, didn't work with him, but listening to him all the time. I mean, he had, how many characters did he have? 5?
Oh,
probably more than that.
Probably more than that, but I can remember easily 5 of them.
Never.
And they're so believable. If you were from out of town and you turned it on, you'd be like, "What the hell is this? What is this?
Riley
what is this
Gert,
guy?" Yeah,
the senseless survey.
Gilbert Gnarly, Gnarley.
I mean, people say he was a genius, and he was in the way to put out that much unique work every day is amazing. But if you watched him work, he could have a 3-way conversation with himself. There'll be 3 different voices and not editing, because back in the day, editing was cut and tape, which he would do sometimes.
Which is harder to do.
Right. But he could just jump back and forth from one person to the next and argue with himself or 2 other people in 3 different voices. It was amazing.
He once left me a voicemail, and every other sentence was one of his characters. He did that quick.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, it's gone now, but I mean, he was a genius to work with. I mean, Sports or Consequences was its own island, and it ended up to be a whole hour instead of a half hour after a while. But I mean, just to be around him and see, like you said, cutting up. I mean, if he was around today, he'd do 5,000 bits in a day.
Completely.
Yeah, because editing is so much easier today.
They had the razor blade and a couple of times I went in there and started a conversation when they're working. Him and Doc didn't do it for a second time.
Not good,
because he told me where to go and sometimes I thought I'm going through the door instead of out it because he would get mad.
And tape was literally a tape, and there was Scotch tape and a razor, so you had to cut out.
Yeah,
and
literally. They had cuts on their thumbs, because of so many. I mean, and it was meticulous work that they did. And now by the computer, all you had to do was just swipe it. Like I said, he'd do 5,000 bits a day if he was doing it. I mean, literally, but he was. I still say just a genius at everything.
So I'm at that point after Phillips, I'm the OM and PD, and Randy calls me and says, "Willie, we got to update Gary Burbank. You got to do something with him, and he needs to get new characters." I said, "You want me to talk to Gary Burbank about new characters?" I said, "What?"
Good luck.
And he said, "Well, do your best and call me back and tell me what happened." I said, "Why don't you talk to him?" He said, "I can't talk to him. You talk to him." I said, "Oh." So after he got off there, I said, "Gary, can I see you for a few minutes?" So he comes to my office, shuts the door, sits on the other side of the desk. And I couldn't mention Randy's name. I said, "Look, I've been listening a lot of things you've been doing. It's been going on for a few years. Could you come up with maybe one or two more characters. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, well, Deuteronomy Skaggs, a little bit old. Earl Pitts ran for governor in 1984, had a great speech. He got 18,000 write-in ballots, and Ranger Bob, children's talk show host, just come up with two or three more. And he starts yelling at me, and I'm sitting back, and I don't know if he was kidding or not, but he picked up my desk, which was able to be flipped over. He turns over my desk, takes the garbage can upside down, slams the door, and leaves. I call Randy. I said, Randy, I talked to Gary Burbank.
Didn't go well.
I said, it didn't go well. He said, to hell with it. I said, I know. Why don't you talk to him? I'm not talking to him.
See, I'd have mentioned Randy's name. Hey, Randy told me to tell you. That's how I would have handled it.
No, I wanted to, I didn't want to throw him under the bus. He wanted plausible deniability.
I said Seg. Seg told me to tell you.
I said Seg. I often do that now. Big show coming up 3 to 6. You have a new sidekick, possibly. Mike McConnell's indicated he may come in.
I'm going to make a mental note of that for next time.
Not today.
By the way,
you got a weed.
By the way, you're joining us at 5 o'clock to talk about Gary
Today?
Burbank. See, I learned this from Mike McConnell. He taught me when I was just starting off. He said, if you ask somebody to be a guest while on air, they can't say no.
Right.
I remember you telling me that back in 2012.
I can't do it. No,
We have to. Okay, see?
All right, 5 o'clock, I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to play golf about 6:15, 6:30.
All right.
That's about it.
You're going to tell Gary Burbank stories.
I'll tell Gary Burbank stories
Great.
about the lap pants. Dance.
So you didn't finish the story about when he dumped your desk. Did he come back and apologize?
Absolutely not.
No.
We didn't talk for like a week.
Yeah, I remember him being pretty pissed.
It was. You're going to tell me how to do characters? Are you kidding me? What the hell do you know? That's how it went. And I'm like, well, okay, Randy, that didn't go well. And he left in 2007. I looked it up. 2007.
Wow.
He's been gone 18 years. It's a long time.
Good run. Like I said, I never would have guessed it. Years ago that he would be around till age 83.
I wouldn't have. He couldn't run to first base 30 years ago. No, he couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't. You got to go
coughing.
I still feel like maybe not recently, but say 5-8 years ago, people would say, I heard Gary Burbank talk about this on air the other day, and I'm like, he hasn't worked here
18 years.
2007.
Been a while.
He used to get a lot of mail.
What people remember,
He used to get a lot of mail as his characters.
Yeah, get mail for Earl Pitts and all that.
Gilbert Gnarly get and then who, like, if he called some company, they would call up here looking for him.
Is Riley Gerd available?
Another good one, the Secret Service. I don't know time we have here.
Yeah,
The
time.
Secret Service would get a call because Gilbert Gnarly would call the White House with a stupid question. And I knew the head of the Secret Service here, Murph? Years ago, anyway. He would take the call or get the whatever, however they communicated it. And he said we would just take it and put it on the shelf. Okay, we know what that, because they all listen. They knew what, we don't have to investigate Gilbert Gnarly. They put it on the shelf, and after X number of days, he checks out. He's fine or whatever.
Gary Burbank dead at the age of 84. Segment, get me out of the Stooge Report.
Willie, in honor of the greatest of all time, Gary Burbank, we leave you with the immortal words of the Stooge Report.
Sound like a big explosion.
On 700 WLW.